Before I begin, I would like to declare that I am an assistant professor in imaging neuroscience at the Singapore Institute of Technology and am a registered member of the Allied Health Professions Council. I rise in support of the motion of thanks for the President's address. It is a privilege for me to join this debate as a new member. First, I would like to thank the residents of Tengah and Choa Chu Kang for giving me the opportunity to speak in the 15th Parliament. I am also immensely grateful to my better half and my 2-year-old for their unwavering love. And to my team and volunteers, thank you for being my second family. Last week, I watched my 2-year-old play with gears, and it reminded me of how healthcare and research are like the hidden gears behind a masterfully crafted clock. You don't always see them, but they keep life moving, quietly, precisely, relentlessly. Each gear must be aligned. Each spring must be wound with care. If even one falters, a misdiagnosis, a delayed study, the whole system stutters. Today, I would like to speak on two areas that are deeply intertwined with our future: healthcare and research. First, on healthcare. Singapore's healthcare conversation is evolving. It is no longer solely about life and death. It is about how we live in old age and in sickness, and the quality of life we can sustain across the lifespan. This shift in focus brings urgency to how we manage downstream healthcare, supporting those already living with illness, especially within our growing population of older citizens. Strategic long-term planning is essential. Judicious allocation of resources will determine whether our healthcare standards remain sustainable and continue to improve. Importantly, downstream care is not just about aging. It encompasses a broader spectrum of lived experiences. The young adult recovering from a stroke, the parent managing a child's autism diagnosis, the worker coping with chronic pain, the caregiver supporting both aging parents and young children. To meet these diverse and increasing demands while upholding healthcare quality, we need to continually review how care is delivered. One area is manpower efficiency. Perhaps we can draw on current nurse-led models under Healthier SG and expand the autonomy of allied health professionals, AHPs, in referrals and prescriptions. This is already standard in countries like the United Kingdom. Outside hospitals and within our communities, engaging seniors meaningfully can be key to optimizing their physical and mental health. Rather than seeing seniors as passive recipients of care, we should recognize senior volunteerism as a strategic asset. Regardless of age, mobility, or technology proficiency, whether they use a wheelchair, a tongkat, or none at all, we can all actively welcome seniors into care initiatives through volunteer networks. This unlocks a win-win. Seniors gain purpose and connection, while communities benefit from their care and experience. Yet, to truly future-proof our healthcare system, we must look upstream, well before illness sets in. Healthier SG has laid a strong foundation. Now, we can build on this momentum by focusing on the first 1,000 days of life, perhaps through initiatives like Grow Well SG that centers on child well-being. To enhance its impact, I suggest moving beyond reactive screening by offering guidance on postural health and ergonomics from early school-going age. Embedding early touch points into antenatal care to equip first-time parents with tools for building healthy routines right from the start. Redesigning existing spaces in HDB estates to include multi-use play corners that encourage outdoor activity, family bonding, and intergenerational engagement. Besides care recipients, caregivers are an integral part of the healthcare landscape. Singapore has laid the groundwork for caregiving support through subsidies, respite services, and community programs. But the caregiving landscape is evolving, and we must elevate our approach. Caregiving is complex. It is not one role, but many: nurse, planner, advocate, emotional anchor. Support must go beyond financial aid. To truly elevate support, we should involve caregiving-trained professionals in policy, program design, and decision-making. Individuals who know care from the inside out. More spending does not guarantee better outcomes. If done right, caregiving support should be precise, efficient, and impactful. To better support caregivers, I propose expanding flexible work arrangements and caregiving leave to accommodate diverse caregiving needs, starting with the public sector and extending through legislation to the private sector. Supporting caregivers in regular health screenings by integrating them into existing national programs such as Healthier SG screening. Incorporating mental health screening for caregivers, leveraging on existing screening providers. Let me now move on to research. I will begin with research strategy, followed by research impact assessment. Singapore committed $28 billion under the Research, Innovation and Enterprise 2025 plan. But investment alone is not vision. We must ask, what are we building and who are we becoming? We cannot simply cruise along with the flow of the waters. We need to accelerate and ride with the waves. As the Chinese saying goes, 不随波逐流，要乘风破浪. In a world of rapid innovation, drifting with the current may seem safe, but it leaves us vulnerable to external tides. If we only follow, we risk becoming dependent on others for the technologies and solutions that shape our future. So we must define our own direction. We are not striving to be sellers of everything, but we cannot afford to be buyers of everything either. Take the current trend of artificial intelligence as an example. Instead of focusing only on applications built elsewhere, we must ask, can we, Singapore, lead in artificial intelligence on novel applications, such as for multilingual societies, for small data environments, or for public trust and governance? And beyond trends, what is Singapore's own version of artificial intelligence? I appeal to the government to define and commit to long-term strategic research domains, fields where Singapore can lead. Invest in Singapore-branded technologies that enhance national resilience in essential sectors. Encourage and enable researchers to pursue high-risk, long-horizon questions through targeted grants, infrastructure support, and collaboration platforms. When policy and innovation move together with clarity and courage, Singapore will not only keep pace with the waves of innovation, we will set our own direction, chart a course others can follow, and build capabilities that serve our people and economy for decades to come. And finally, on research expenditure and impact assessment, we have committed billions to support research, innovation, and enterprise. But the question is not how much we spend. It is what we get from what we spend. We must ensure that funding is not merely meeting checkbox criteria, but delivering real impact. Are we solving the problems we set out to solve? Are we plugging the gaps that matter most? We often measure success by volume, papers published, grants awarded, partnerships signed. These are important, but they do not always reflect whether the work is transformative or relevant. We must also be mindful of the administrative workload on researchers. When too much time is spent on compliance and reporting, we risk shifting focus away from innovation. Accountability is essential, but it must be proportionate and purposeful. And we need research-trained professionals, not just those with degrees, but those with deep discipline-based expertise to manage and evaluate research outcomes. To ensure that every dollar spent delivers maximum value, I propose the following. Support early career scientists with targeted funding that promotes exploration, innovation, and breakthrough thinking. Shift to impact-driven evaluation by requiring grant programs to define success upfront in terms of national outcomes and clear plans for industry partnerships or public sector applications. Streamline grant processes, consolidate duplicative costs across agencies, and reduce excessive reporting requirements to allow researchers to focus on innovation. Ensure funding decisions and outcome assessments are guided by domain experts with deep research expertise and relevant field experience. Mr. Speaker, sir, 我们要把钱花在刀刃上 means spending money where it matters most. Let us continue to invest boldly, but also wisely, so that our research efforts deliver not just quantity and activity, but authentic, measurable impact. Today, I speak on healthcare and research, but there is much more to speak on. And beneath these diverse topics lies a common thread. Let me offer an analogy. Singapore is like a boat. We are all in it together, each with different personalities, backgrounds, and perspectives. There is no right or wrong in who we are. What matters is that we row in the same direction. In healthcare and research, in every policy we shape, we must choose the right way, not the easy way. The right way demands courage, clarity, and compassion. It asks us to listen deeply, act boldly, and build patiently. And let me end with this reflection. This is inspired by the Prime Minister's National Day Rally speech and the President's parliamentary address. Mr. Speaker, in Mandarin, 我们不是乘客，而是扬帆破浪的人，不畏惊涛骇浪，只挂云帆济沧海。方向一致，方能抵达对岸。不选易路，只走值得的航程。Thank you.